I was still groggy, strapped up to a IV, blinking through the post-op haze, when my phone buzzed on the rolling tray next to me. I figured it was my wife checking in, but no, it was Todd Branning. One line, no greeting, no explanation. Unreliable employees like you don't deserve a place here. That was it. 8 years, gone in 10 words. I sat there, half sitting in a stiff hospital bed, gallbladder just carved out of me the night before, and my entire career got torched by a text. No call, no meeting, no warning, just Todd doing what Todd does. Gutless moves behind a screen. I'd given everything to Beckett and Rowe. Every holiday I skipped, every time I missed my kids' baseball games, every red eye I took just so Todd could parade into boardrooms rested and ready, all of it meant nothing. I was the guy they leaned on for logistics, strategy, client management, 40 million in active accounts, and I still wasn't worth a courtesy call. I just stared at the screen, blinking like it might change if I read it again. The guy next to me, some older dude, just wheeled in, glanced over. Late 50s maybe, salt and pepper hair, calm eyes. He caught my reaction. "Bad news?" he asked, voice low. I didn't even answer. I just turned the screen toward him. He read it, gave a dry chuckle. "That's cold," he said. "Looks like your boss just gave away something valuable." I squinted at him. "What's that supposed to mean?" He reached out his hand, firm shake despite the hospital band on his wrist. Nick Marlowe, founder of Sterling West. That name hit like a second punch. Sterling West, the one name that made Todd twitch any time someone said it in a meeting. The competitor he couldn't stop watching. The guy he constantly accused of sniffing around our clients. And here he was, 2 feet from me, calm as a lake. I sat up straighter, wincing at the pull in my side. "You're that Nick Marlowe? Been called worse," he said, smiling. "Your name's Kyle, right? Kyle Atwood?" I nodded. "Yeah." He tapped the phone still in my hand. "Branning's loss. He just did half my job for me. Quick note, before listening, share which city or country you're watching from." I didn't answer, not because I didn't have something to say, but because I suddenly realized exactly what was happening. Todd hadn't just fired me. He'd handed his biggest fear the one weapon he could never buy, me, and he did it while I was still hooked to a heart monitor. Nick sat up in his hospital bed the next morning like nothing hurt. Me? I still had that weird balloon feeling in my gut, pain meds barely keeping it together. He looked over at me with that same calm, steady stare and said, "How many clients were under you?" I blinked off the sleep. "You mean directly managed?" He nodded once. I exhaled. "About 40 million annually. Logistics, industrial supply, mid-cap manufacturing, Midwestern corridor mostly." He didn't flinch. "And they trusted you?" I gave a slow nod. "Yeah, more than they ever trusted Todd." His eyes narrowed, like that confirmed something he already knew. "We've been trying to punch into that sector for years," he said. "Problem's never been strategy or funding. Problem's been not having you." I didn't say anything. My throat was still dry from the oxygen tube, but my brain was racing now. I'd just gotten fired. 24 hours ago, I was waking up from surgery. Now this guy was just laying out blueprints for my future. Then he said it. "If you want out of Branning's shadow, come talk to us. You've earned a clean shot. I'll make sure you get one." I stared at the ceiling for a beat, feeling the weight of it. I hadn't even processed the firing yet. Not really. I hadn't thought past the moment. And here he was offering a next chapter. It felt sudden, maybe reckless, but something had cracked loose inside me. I gave Todd everything. Every late night, every fire drill, every last-minute client dinner. And he dropped me like I was dead weight. Loyalty like that? It was a one-way street, and I was done driving it. Nick must have seen it in my face. He didn't push. He just said, "You've got leverage now, Kyle. Use it. Or someone else will." That stuck. Later that night, I called my wife, Lisa. She picked up on the second ring. "Hey," she said, "how's the pain?" "Manageable," I told her. "You're not going to believe who was in the next bed. Try me. Nick Marlowe." Silence. Then, "The Sterling guy?" "Yep, the Sterling guy. He saw the text from Todd. We talked. He's serious, Liz." Another pause, then a breath. "Sounds like the universe just threw you a lifeline. I'm not sure if it's a trap or a gift. You've been killing yourself for a man who didn't even call you to fire you," she said. "Maybe don't question the lifeline." I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. You okay with me exploring it? I asked. I'm okay with you getting what you're worth, she said, whatever that looks like. Before we hung up, she said one more thing. You're not going back to him. That bridge is ashes, so build something new. I stared at the hospital ceiling again, heart beating a little harder now. Not from nerves, from clarity. I didn't owe Todd anything anymore. Not explanations, not silence, nothing. I got discharged that Tuesday, still sore, walking like I'd lost a bar fight. But my head was clear for the first time in months. Lisa pulled the car up and helped me in, asking if I needed anything. I told her just one thing: silence. I needed to think. When we pulled into the driveway, I saw something stuck to the front door. A plain white envelope. No name, just taped right under the knocker. I peeled it off, opened it, and found a single business card inside. Sterling West, Nick Marlowe. Founder, no note, no pitch, just that card. And it said more than a 5-paragraph letter ever could. 3 days later, I was walking into their Chicago office, still stiff, but dressed sharp. I wanted them to see I wasn't showing up with a limp. I was showing up ready. Nick met me in the lobby himself. No assistant, no pretense. We sat across from each other in a glass-walled conference room with a view of the river. He didn't waste time with small talk. I'm not here to trash Todd, I said. But I know those clients. They didn't sign up for rookies. He didn't flinch, just slid a folder across the table. Inside, a contract. VP of Strategic Accounts Midwest. A number that made me blink twice. Stock options, signing bonus, full autonomy. But what hooked me wasn't the money. It was the freedom. Build your own team. Choose your targets. Report directly to Nick. I didn't ask for time to think. I signed it that afternoon. I walked out of that office a free man. My phone was in my hand before I hit the street. I made 3 calls. Quiet ones. No pitching, no pressure. Just, hey, it's Kyle. Todd let me go. I'm with Sterling now. Just wanted to let you know I'm still around if you need consistency. That was it. I didn't name names or push anything. I left the door cracked, not kicked in. One of them, a VP I'd worked with for 6 years, said, his nephew called us last week. Kid didn't even know what products we move. If you're at Sterling, we're interested. That was the first break in the wall. Over the next few days, I got a trickle of follow-ups. Questions, feelers, quiet check-ins. People wanted to know if I was really back in the game. I kept it simple. No trash talk. Just told the truth. I was fired, but I landed on my feet. Still had the same number, still cared about delivering results. And Todd? He must have caught the scent, because my phone started blowing up. Texts from former coworkers, missed calls from Beckett's main line, one from Todd's assistant asking if I was available for a quick chat. I didn't answer any of it. Lisa caught me staring at my phone that Friday night and said, if he's trying to fix it, it's already too late. I nodded. He doesn't want to fix it. He wants to stop the bleeding. And I wasn't about to hand him a tourniquet. By the end of the weekend, I'd taken 5 more calls from former clients, all asking the same thing in different ways. You still handling accounts? Can you match the same terms? Are you allowed to work with us? The momentum was real, not fast, but steady. The kind that builds from underneath, like pressure before a crack forms. I didn't reach out. I didn't bend any rules. I just picked up the phone when it rang, and I could feel it. Todd was about to lose his grip. By Friday afternoon, my phone rang again. This time, it wasn't a client or a coworker. It was Todd. His name lit up the screen like a warning light. I stared at it for a second, then answered. His voice came sharp, tight, the kind of fake calm people use when they're losing control. I hear you've been making calls. I leaned back in my chair. You fired me, Todd. What did you think I was going to do? Disappear? You're violating your non-solicit, he snapped. We'll bury you if you touch our accounts. I almost laughed. Talk to legal. That shut him up for half a beat. I could practically hear him grinding his teeth. Then, click. Call ended. For the first time in years, I didn't feel small after talking to him. I felt untouchable. That night, I sat in Sterling's office with Priya, head of legal. Small woman, sharp voice, zero hesitation. She walked me through every inch of protocol. No documents from Beckett, she said, tapping her pen on a legal pad. No forwarding old files, no client lists. If clients reach out to you, we're clear to respond, but you don't initiate. Got it? Got it. She looked up at me. You were fired without cause. That matters more than you think. He's got no legal ground to stand on. He just doesn't know it yet. Her tone had that clean confidence only a good lawyer carries, the kind that makes you breathe easier. When we wrapped up, she smiled. Keep it simple, Kyle. Let your work speak. He's already making noise because he's scared. She was right. Todd's panic wasn't about contracts. It was about losing control. On my way out, I opened LinkedIn. I hadn't posted anything in months, maybe years. I typed a simple line, excited to join Sterling West as VP of Strategic Accounts Midwest. That was it. No bragging, no jab, just a fact. I hit post and slid the phone back into my pocket. By the time I got home that night, the notifications had already started. Old clients liking it, former coworkers commenting. A few DMs that said things like, about time or congrats, smart move. Then the inbox started filling. Inquiries from companies I hadn't heard from in years. A couple of warm intros, even a message from a logistics VP at a firm Beckett had been chasing for months. Lisa walked by while I was reading through them. You look like someone who just won something, she said. Not yet, I told her. But the first domino just fell. She smiled, soft but proud, then let it fall. So I did. Monday morning, I was 2 sips into my coffee when my phone rang. Northspan Freight, direct line. I knew the number before I even answered. Hey Kyle, the voice said. It's Darren, COO here. We saw your update. My gut tensed, but I kept it even. Appreciate you reaching out. You still handling logistics strategy? Yep, I said, but now through Sterling. He didn't hesitate. Good, let's talk. That was the start. By Wednesday, 3 clients had initiated formal transition talks. They didn't ask about non-competes. They didn't ask if I was cleared. They just wanted to know if I could still deliver. I kept it professional, stuck to Priya's rules. No paperwork from Beckett, no old decks, no email trails. But I didn't need them. The relationships were mine. Always had been. That night, Todd sent a cease and desist. Some junior lawyer from Beckett drafted it. All bark, no bite. The usual garbage, misuse of proprietary information, interference with contractual relationships. I forwarded it straight to Priya. She read it, then laughed. This is weak. I'll handle it. The next morning, she fired off a 12-page response that dismantled it line by line. She CC'd Todd's counsel directly. Let him come, she said. He's throwing punches in the dark. We're not blinking. Then came the second wave. Janice Monroe called me, VP at Brant Tech, one of our bigger clients back at Beckett. She didn't waste time. Todd said you were unreliable, said you were taking extended leave. We smelled BS. I didn't even have to explain. She already knew. That your voice on those quarterly calls, that was value, not his. We're ready to move, she said. That week, Beckett and Rowe lost 4 major contracts. Just like that. Then I got a call I wasn't expecting. Dana, still stuck inside Beckett, still trying to survive the mess. We used to work shoulder to shoulder on regional accounts. Smart, sharp, organized as hell. She called from a personal number, voice low, like someone was in the next room. He's panicking, she said. You shook something loose. He's spiraling. What's he doing? He forwarded your entire old client inbox to his nephew, told him to reclaim the accounts. Then he started forging change orders, backdating new contracts like nothing happened. I sat up. Wait, forging? Yep, I've seen the files. He's faking signatures, revising scopes, pushing clients to renew early so it looks like retention, not loss. I blew out a breath. That's fraud, Dana. I know. I've documented everything. Screen recordings, emails, time-stamped edits. You keeping it safe? It's all backed up. I'm not going down with him. I looked out the window, phone pressed tight to my ear. You want out? I asked. There was a pause. Eventually, but not yet. I want to make sure when the fall happens, it hits him, not the rest of us. Smart, strategic, and brave. You let me know when you're ready, I said. Doors open. Thanks, Kyle, and congrats. You earned this. After we hung up, I sat back, watching the inbox roll in. New inquiries, client referrals, old names resurfacing with new needs. The tide wasn't turning anymore. It was already crashing. By Thursday morning, Dana sent a 1-line text. Audit's on. That's all it said. But I knew what it meant. Beckett's board had finally opened their eyes. I got the full download later that day. She called me from her car, voice tense but steady. They pulled the email logs, she said. found backdated hiring paperwork, fake onboarding docs, and flagged multiple false invoices tied to your old client book. Jesus, I muttered. It gets worse, she said. He approved a contractor payment that was never delivered. 6 figures. Gone. I let that sink in. This wasn't just sloppiness anymore. Todd was in criminal territory. The next day I was in a meeting with my new team at Sterling, mapping out a logistics rollout for a client we'd just secured, when my phone lit up again. Front desk. Urgent. I stepped into the hall and answered. It's Todd, the receptionist whispered. He just walked into the lobby, loud, demanding to see you. I moved to the mezzanine, overlooking the front atrium, and there he was. Todd Branning, red-faced and shouting, suit wrinkled, hair a mess. He didn't look like a man trying to fix something. He looked like a man coming apart at the seams. Nick beat me downstairs by 30 seconds. Calm as ever, wearing that dark blue blazer he always wore when things got serious. He stepped in front of Todd, didn't raise his voice. He doesn't work for you anymore, he said. Straightforward, final. Todd pointed up at the mezzanine. At me. He's bleeding us dry, he barked. Nick didn't even flinch. You should leave now. Security moved in fast. No hands, just presence. Todd's mouth kept moving, but I couldn't hear it. I just stood there watching him get walked out like a drunk at a wedding. Desperate. Unhinged. By that afternoon, 3 more clients had jumped ship. Not with noise, just clean exits. Quiet emails. We're following Kyle. That was all they said. The damage was done. That night, Dana called again. He's finished, she said. Board's meeting in the morning to discuss removal. I was silent for a second. You okay? She asked. Yeah, just tired. I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel angry anymore either. I just felt done. All that time I gave to him. The energy, the weekends, the late night calls. It was over, burned up, and I had no interest in looking back. A week later, I got a call from a blocked number. I should have let it ring out, but something in me said, pick up. Hello? Silence for half a second, then, Kyle. It was Todd. His voice was rough, like he hadn't slept or stopped drinking in days. They pushed me out, he said. Board voted me out, just like that. I lost everything. I stayed quiet. You did this, he added. I didn't respond. You could have just walked away, he said. You didn't have to humiliate me. I let that sit. Then I answered, low and even. You humiliated yourself. You fired me in a hospital bed. I didn't come after you. I just moved on. The clients followed. He didn't say anything. For a few seconds, all I could hear was his breathing. Then he muttered, maybe you're right. That was the last thing he ever said to me. 6 months later, Sterling opened a new branch in Dallas. I was the one running it. I built out the Midwest team, hired people I trusted, and landed 5 more contracts, all from Beckett's old roster. One night, Lisa and I were sitting on the back patio, watching the sun drop behind the trees. She looked over at me and said, feels like you finally got what you deserved. I thought about it for a second, then shook my head. Not revenge, I said, just clarity. A few days later, Dana messaged me, short and to the point. Todd's blacklisted. No one's touching him. I stared at it for a beat. Then I closed the message. I had my own office now, a smart team who didn't need babysitting, a growing list of clients who called me, not the firm. That's what Todd never got. He thought power came from title, control, ownership. But trust? That's something you earn. And once you have it, no one can take it. He fired me thinking I was done. All he did was set me free. Did Todd deserve to lose everything, or did Kyle go too far? Drop your answer in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more.